this revolution was for the implementation of Islam in our country.
The government structure of Iran is a mix of religious scholars and democratically elected parliamentary leaders.
वहाँ पर ये तय कर दिया गया कि एक खास फिका की हुक्मरानी होगी।
जब तालिबान को इक़्तिदार मिल गया तो उन्होंने किसी की डिक्टेशन नहीं मानी और लोगों को अदल इंसाफ फौरी मुयस्सर आता था।
वहाँ तो अफगान कौम है ना, अफगान कौम ने क्या मंतखब किया था? इस्लामी निज़ाम नहीं आया था, हुकूमत इस्लामी हो गई थी।
Just after the creation of an Islamic state in Afghanistan, it was attacked by the USA. And this happened in Iran. Just after the successful Islamic revolution, it was attacked by Saddam Hussein of Iraq, again backed by the United States of America. The journey to understand the conflict between state and religion has led us to explore the rise and fall of a civilization termed as one of the greatest in history. A civilization that started from Arabia, expanded to a vast area of the world, and finally became just a part of history books.
Today the journey brings us to a country which was envisaged to become the focal point of the revival of the Muslim civilization. The land that is mine, yours, ours. The land that we call home. This is the state of Sharia and I am Uwais Mangalwala.
The year 1947 witnessed a drastic change in the way the subcontinent was drawn on maps. It was the partition of the subcontinent into two separate states. One of them was Pakistan, the only ideological state in the world other than Israel. A country whose creation was not backed by any illegal occupation, military uprising, revolt, insurgency or terrorism. It was on the basis of a theory called the two-nation theory. Although the theory is not called the two-religion theory, it emphasizes on the fact that Hindus and Muslims are two separate people, belonging to separate civilizations and separate social customs, and therefore the Muslims of India must have their separate homeland. Whether this homeland would be a secular state or an Islamic state is the ideological debate between scholars of today who understand the founding fathers of Pakistan in their own ways. The executing force behind this idea, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was again not someone who had studied in a madrasa or had any formal religious education. He was a modern man. In fact, the most modern politician which the subcontinent possessed at that time. Someone who was equally comfortable with metropolitan Delhi and metropolitan London. But his politics was revolving around religion. And behind his religious politics was another man who was equally modern, had studied at Cambridge, Munich and Heidelberg, and had reconstructed religious thought in Islam.
The philosophy of Iqbal has been suppressed in Pakistan since 1953 by our academics, by our universities, by decision makers and intelligentsia who have absorbed first of all literature, then political philosophy, then views about religion and an educational system which is alien to Iqbal, which Iqbal has considered poison for nations, and because they want to sustain that, therefore they are the ones who suppress the philosophy of Iqbal.
Khurram Ali has researched on Iqbal in depth. Working for the Iqbal Academy of Pakistan, he is in the process of writing a 6-volume biography on the life and vision of Muhammad Iqbal.
According to Iqbal, Islam is a state. Islam means unity, and you cannot bifurcate this unity into matter and spirit or religion and state, because when you do that, then there is injustice and some people take advantage.
Inspired by the ideas of Iqbal, Jinnah spoke many times of implementing Islamic social justice and Islamic democracy. On the inauguration of the State Bank of Pakistan, he even called for implementing rules of Islamic economics, condemning Western economics and blaming it for 2 world wars.
Now, secularism gave a lot of rights to people in the 18th century and in the 19th century, but we forget that it gave those rights to societies where almost everyone belonged to the same religion. Will it also apply to societies where there are minorities who have had hostile past towards each other?
Many people argue that Jinnah wanted a secular state, and they quote him, "You are free. You are free to go to your temples, your mosques and any other places of worship in the state of Pakistan. And your caste, your creed and your religion has got nothing to do with the business of the state." But isn't this the basic rule in an Islamic government? Everyone is free to follow their own religion and everyone is equal in the eyes of the law, no matter what religion they belong to.
Allama Iqbal, Quaid-e-Azam and Liaquat Ali Khan are unanimous on this point in all their key statements that in Pakistan there cannot be eventually any distinction between people on the basis of religion in terms of politics. However, they also agree that this is something which has to evolve naturally.
But the founder of the newborn state did not live long to implement his vision, whatever it was. And any conclusion derived by us or our learned scholars of today from whatever we know about him would be a speculation. So I decided to meet someone who had lived through partition and ask them why they migrated. After all, there were millions who migrated and millions who were slaughtered during the course of travel.
After my parents introduced me to Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, I became his greatest admirer. After my parents introduced me to Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, I became his greatest admirer, and I went to Bombay many a time, and I had the honor of visiting his home, Malabar Hill. I came to the conclusion, he is my leader. I can put my faith into him, and I became a devotee of the organization he headed, as did my parents.
A big fan of Jinnah, Qutbuddin Aziz was a part of the independence struggle and witnessed the birth of Pakistan.
Why did all those millions of people migrate? Was it for Islam or was it for economic reasons? Because there are many people who say that it was a land of new economic opportunities.
Well, Muslims in India were harassed by the Hindus. Every day there was communal rioting in Kanpur, in Delhi, in Gurmukteshwar, and so on, and all these places. And the newspapers had the most harrowing stories about the killing of Muslims in different parts of India by Hindu vampires. And so the fact of the matter is that the Muslims who came to Pakistan, they came in search of security. I think it was also a side feeling that perhaps in a state of Muslims in Pakistan, they would be able to get better jobs. And there's no doubt about it that compared with India, they got better jobs.
A writer of 20 books on subjects mostly related to the subcontinent and its partition, he gave me the idea of the Pakistan that Jinnah wanted.
Many a time Quaid-e-Azam was asked, well, what kind of Islam, what kind of Islamic state do you want? And he said, I want the Islamic state to be absolutely liberal, like the state that the Prophet of Islam built up. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah most vehemently observed that I don't want to create a theocratic state. I want a state where the Muslims and the Hindus and people of other religions can live in peace and harmony. The concept of human rights in the thinking of Mr. Jinnah was for all the citizens of the state.
It is a concept to which Dr. Israr and Javed Ghamidi both agree.
ये हकीकत